this may be one of the fastest defenses we've seen in a long time at Georgia. This isn't you think of those big behemoths in the middle, but your outside linebackers and secondary. I've been covering a long time, but I don't know that I can recall a defense that's quite this fast.
Nakobe Dean is something special. If you can say that about Nakobe and Tyrique Stevenson, Jordan Davis looks great with some of the weight it looks like that he has shed. If you see that from Lewis Seen, who's apparently a headhunter in practice, you got a lot of NFL dudes on that defense, and it may go to the 3 deep at this point.
The speed, my God, just at your cornerback position, returning all the speed you did there. You mentioned the outside linebackers. Yeah, let the hog mollies stuff them up the middle and, rock and roll. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
What was your kind of main takeaway from the scrimmage?
This is really something that Coach has been talking about for a while, but, reared its head again, and you wondered if it would carry over. And I'm still surprised by it. And that's Owen Condon. I think the fact that Owen Condon has that right tackle spot, kind of within his grasp right now, it looks like he's the guy to beat there. Look, when that kid came into the program, that was not what anybody was expecting, especially given the guys that he came in with, the guys that are playing behind him.
Georgia's interior offensive line looks phenomenal. Give me Justin Schaefer, give me Trey Hill, give me Ben Cleveland, backed up by Warren Erickson, who started in that Sugar Bowl game. Give me a Clay Webb, 5-star guy who can get in there. Give me a Cedric Van Pran, a lot of talented guys there pushing for those spots. Jamari Sawyer out at left tackle. I have every confidence in the world about Jamari Sawyer working tackle. People might think he's a little undersized. Yeah, try getting around him. Have fun with that.
I wanted to talk, Roddy, a little bit actually about what you said about Dwan, and I think that it's an interesting situation with Dwan Mathis, because coming out of high school, you probably had a really good sense of what JT Daniels could do as a quarterback.
Yeah.
That was not the case with Dwan Mathis. That was not, people were really not sure, is this guy a quarterback or not? It felt like he had the upside, it felt like he had the arm, but was he going to be able to put it all together? In that respect, I think that you're seeing a guy who has, I guess, a proven commodity versus a ceiling. In this case, I think that you're seeing Dwan sort of being able to deliver on some of the things that people always wondered, is this in the back of this guy's game? And I think that another thing too that's really important to mention, you talked about him kind of being around the program. We've seen players come out and be vocal on Twitter, with their support for Dwan Mathis.
One of the other things that, from the observations that stuck out to me, we heard a lot about Dominic Blaylock, and we've had questions about how is his injury going to affect the wide receiver depth chart. What I had not considered is how his injury affects the returning game, because Dominic Blaylock was going to be right there in the mix to return kicks and punts. So obviously Kearis Jackson is probably getting a look. He's done it a little bit. But seeing Tyrique Stevenson at potential there, now that was intriguing to me.
Tyrique was a guy that, and even going into this year with Mark Webb perceived to be the nickel starter, you want to figure out a way to utilize a kid like Tyrique. He's got to get snaps. He's good enough to do it. He's going to make an impact one way or another.
I've been told by multiple people that Tyrique, maybe the best player on defense, and I'm like, it seems a bit reach when you look at Nolan Smith and Azeez Ojulari and Adam Anderson, all these high-ranked guys, Jordan Davis, all SEC performer, and just a couple, Tyson Campbell and Eric Stokes. You're like, wait a minute, Tyrique Stevenson? Again, he's young, but I'm told that when all's said and done, in Tyrique Stevenson, you could have another DeAndre Baker, a guy who could push for national awards, not just all SEC.
I got to tell people what you need to be excited about, in my opinion, is this 22 defensive line class in state. I think that it is a class that rivals, what we saw. And given, some of these guys did not pan out, but, the Julian Rochester, Michael Carter, David Marshall, for me, it's the best defensive line class that's come through Georgia since that time.